My dad never sat me down and said, this is how you run a church. My dad never sat me down and said, this is what you should do. My dad never said, hey, this is how we walk the hall. Like maybe he told us how we walk the halls and how there's a way of making people feel loved and making sure you're engaged in conversation. Yeah. But like after that, it's like he just showed me. So my week has been good, but my week has been a little crazier than normal just because you have work and you have getting ready to go for a hunt. So I've been trying to figure out. And then you have a 13-month at home. And renovations. And renovations going on at my house right now too, which are far overdue.
We get possession. I find everything's finalized.
Yeah.
With my house. So
congratulations.
Oh, it's great. Thank you.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So 14th. Going to be great. Lined up the home insurance today. It's all set in place.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, now I'm planning renovations myself. So
there's property taxes in the city, right? Mm-hmm. And you just pay it through your mortgage? Do you know?
I believe that someone can correct me if I'm wrong.
I think it is, but
I'm a new homeowner, so I'm gonna find out.
That's okay.
Actually, Daniel might know.
Everything we talk about on this podcast, everyone who listens understands that I just say what's in my head sometimes, and it's not always right, but that's okay. The reason I ask is because I live outside the city, and outside the city, your property taxes go through your RM. So I don't do any. So typically, if you buy, this is the way I believe I believe it to be is the fact that when you get a mortgage in the city, you do the mortgage with your property taxes attached to your mortgage, I think, or something in that payment. Whereas, like the reason I'm asking this, because I had to just call my RM on the way here because I have to like, it's so super. I don't know. Everyone who's listening right now who lives outside the city knows my pain because for the longest time, your property taxes are estimated every year. So the government doesn't come out with what your new property taxes are until you're well into the year, and they expect you to be paid up by the end of the year. Right. So you have to pay into your estimated property taxes pretty much from January to, let's just say July. Could be a couple month buffer there.
Right.
And if you don't pay your entire property tax bill by October 31st, which is in 3 days, then you're penalized by interest or whatever it might be.
Yep.
So you basically get this. So I've been paying a certain amount every single month towards the property taxes, and then at that same time, at the end of the year, they'll go, oh, just so you know, you've paid less than the amount that you should have been paying this entire time because the property new estimation came out and it says that you are still owing $1,200 or $800 or.
So like this year, that's like playing Monopoly, and
it's irritating. So this year, they're finally, they finally, I don't know all the ins and outs, but they're finally making it so that they can take off a very, very good estimation of what your property tax bill will be.
Okay, within like a margin of
very, very close margin, so that you will be paid up. So it's like, it's just fun. That's why I ask about property tax. I'm like,
Yeah, I really gotta look into that. There's so many things I gotta figure out.
You'll learn. But you don't need to learn everything off the hop either.
But it's got to do a lot of grading in spring, which will be really fun.
Grading away from the house, you mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think Andre just did that actually. So you should ask him.
Oh, he offered to help.
Yeah.
I'm going to take him up on that.
Yeah, take him up on that. I've asked so many people, like in my close vicinity, obviously, to help me in different things in my house that, like, if they wanted to cash in on favors from me to them, I'd be busy for a long time. Like,
I hope it all happens in 1 year.
Yeah.
Just every weekend
because you know you're one of those guys. Andre is one of those guys. There's been quite a few guys.
I have a tub that I got to move.
You do? Seriously?
No.
Oh, I was like, oh.
No.
You want a clawfoot tub? I could sell you one. $1,000.
That's a little steep.
I've heard they go for good money. So
yeah. What are the odds you let me have it for free?
1 in 10.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, 5.
3.
Oh, dang it.
That's the beauty of a house, though. You'll figure it out. And I remember when we first moved into the house, our house, which was 2019, I remember turning off lights in every room that I left because I was scared of our bill that was going to come out.
Yeah.
And I was like, literally, like if I was in there for 10 minutes, I'd turn the light on for 10 minutes. And when I walked out, I would not forget to turn off every single light. And then I started to realize that it's like, your bill isn't super affected by your lights being on or off. Like it is, but not unbelievable
So
amount.
Zach in 2025, are all the lights on?
Zach in 2025 has installed some sensors on his lights.
That's
so
pretty smart.
they turn themselves off after they don't have movement in a certain little bit of time.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be Team Philips Hue for life.
Jess hates it, but that's okay.
Pop it off on my phone. My wife hates it too. Madeline can't stand it.
They like a switch.
Yeah, they like a switch. I'm a huge, I'm not a big light guy. You know what I mean by that? Like, if we're in this room and you flicked all the lights on, I'd be like, okay, I'll deal with it. But I'd rather have the cozy lights.
Right.
The vibe.
Well, that's why I always joke with Jess. She always says, I wish I could just have a switch. I'm like, we can give you a switch, but every single night you ask me to change the lights to dimmer around the entire house. Yeah. And if I switch all the lights back to normal bulbs with normal switches, you ain't going to be able to go down to 60% and a little bit more yellowy lighting.
You're not going to be able to change it exactly.
Yeah. So I'm like, we can't, I don't know.
Oh, I guess we got to buy more bulbs. More Philips Hue.
I know. Yeah. They're just it's a hobby. It's not like a cost saver. No. It's like Legos, you know? It's I
got to find your guy.
No, you don't. No, I don't have a guy anymore.
I love that it's even a thing. Yeah, I had a guy.
I don't have a guy anymore. Well, you go in Kijiji or Facebook Marketplace and people sell things, and sometimes after you've bought a few, you start to realize that they were way too well priced, and maybe that the guy was doing some shady business on his end that I didn't know about when I bought these lights. Yeah. So it's all good. It's all good. I don't know. It's just funny. But so you're moving in November.
November 14th. Nice. Yeah, it's going to be counting down the days.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool.
That's awesome. Because perspective for people listening, you used to work for church.
Yeah.
Well, you're not used to. You've always worked for church. But you used to work with me in youth way back in the day.
Yeah.
What year was that?
July 2019 to December 2020.
There you go. 2019 to December 2020.
So just over a little bit of a year.
Just over a year or just under a year, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And then you decided that you wanted to go get your degree in psychology and counseling and whatever else. And so you went and did it. And you moved to maintenance in our church, which is helping with all the builds and everything that's been going on for the last while. Yeah, it was really busy. But then you came back to us.
And I came back.
And now you're back on staff, and you're not going to be a counselor as of right now.
Unless you got other plans, man.
God's got the plans.
Yeah.
I just do my best to.
That's a good point.
Direct our steps here and there through the church.
Yeah, it's interesting when I reflect on that. It's I think the grass is almost always greener. I was like, I think I really want to do counseling, and there's a part of my heart that still is with wanting to help people, but I know that's not the full call on my life. But going to university was a grind, and then doing the maintenance and doing the build, I call it my humbling season. It was a season of me just realizing how do I describe this to you? It was like going against the grain for so long, or just I'm doing this. And it was very much I feel like I'm compelled to do this.
Yeah.
And
I think everyone needs to, not everyone, because not everyone has to do this, but there's certain personalities where it's you almost have to go check if the grass is greener for yourself. Yep. Otherwise you always live with regret.
Yep.
And that's fine. I'm like that kind of person too.
Yeah.
And then you realize it's not.
It's not.
So it's and you can kind of build a great life for yourself wherever you want. Yeah. It's just for me, I mean, back to the series that the church is on even right now for the blessed and the good life. It's you can kind of build the blessed life through any career you want.
Sure.
It's just kind of also, it comes down a little bit down to the decisions that you make for maybe what your passion is or what you could see yourself doing long term.
Yep.
But there's also short term stuff that happens in people's lives where it's just you know what, I know this isn't where I'm going to end up, but this is where I am now, and that's fine. Yeah. People have this weird finality between the decisions that they make all the time. Even houses, well, we want a house that we can be in forever. It's buy what within your means right now, enjoy the house, steward it well, renovate what you can if you need to and if you want to. Yep. And then if in 7 years you're you know what, we're kind of sick of this house and maybe we need a little bigger house, maybe we need a little smaller house, whatever it might be, then put it on the market if you stewarded it well.
Yep.
It's all going to be the same thing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Everyone spends their money somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's...
I think it's interesting. There's a lot to respond to in that, but the finality of decisions is a really interesting one. Like for me, the finality of going to university, that felt pretty serious. And when I went and I did that, like that, I wanted to see it through. But it's exactly that. Like I've talked to a lot of young people too, where they're like, oh, well, I really want to do this. I'm like, great, do it. And they'll talk to me a year later and like, I've changed my mind. And they almost feel embarrassed about it. And they feel awkward. It's just like, well, I told you I was going to do this. And I honestly realized maybe I have a change of heart on, or my mind's changing, or God's leading me somewhere else. It's like, that's okay. That's okay to realize like, oh, maybe what I thought was best is not really where I need to be at that time. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so like,
I heard an actor say this recently, and I don't know if I fully agree with it or not, but I just thought it was an interesting remark. But he just said he feels like embarrassment is one of the most underexplored feelings. And he says that he believes that a lot more people should explore it more and get used to being embarrassed and realize that it's not that big of a deal. Like it really isn't. Yep. And I can't help to, I do agree with it a little bit for sure, because embarrassment does stop a lot of people from doing a lot of things. And it seems like embarrassment always comes from a comparison type of initial reaction, right? Like you're embarrassed. Why? Because I believe that you're kind of comparing yourself to maybe what you should be, or what people need you,
right?
What you think people need you to be, or what is normal in culture right now. And it's like, there's so many odd people in this world, and I'm probably one of them too. But it's like at the end of the day, it's like just you will fit in with a group if you choose to just be who you are, right? As long as be morally right. But I more mean like, but like the quirks, man, like.
Well, I would agree with that, because if you think about like the first time you spoke on stage, there's probably like you were really thinking about, in the back of your mind, I hope I don't mess up here, because there's an embarrassment almost attached to it. That's what I experienced when I sang. That's what I experienced actually when I did Laugh the other week, where it's just like the first time I did it, I'm like, oh, I'm going up there. And I would argue that a lot of our decisions that we make as people, if we're taking just truly just the human side of it, it's just like how much of our behaviors are derived from not wanting to stick out and to socially be acceptable. Does that make sense? Like, because like if we're going into my degree a little bit, like one aspect of human psychology is our desire and need to be adaptable or fit into the social circle and be with the majority. And there's a fear of sticking out in the minority. Obviously there's people out there that can just do that, and you're just like, and who they are. But like how much of our behaviors and decisions just as a human are just derived from, oh, I don't want to stick out. I don't want to say the wrong thing and mess up. I don't want to have to recant what I said because I realize I'm wrong. There's almost like an embarrassment, a pride and ego thing behind it.
Or just the way that people view you.
Yeah.
Like every reaction we give, and we have this weird tendency to chase affirmation, I guess, from people that don't care about you.
Oh yeah. Well, that's social media.
Yeah.
That's social media.
Totally it is. And it happens in, I mean, but it's like the reason social media is because that feeling was already in the people, and it just got expanded when you bring it onto social platforms where now you can do it on a greater level. What does that mean? It means that now the affirmations you'd get from going into a group of people of 7 to 10, now you can get those good or bad affirmations from thousands and millions, right? So it's like,
and there's a representation of it too.
Totally, which to me makes it feel like everything is exaggerated, where like I said, well, and even going back to the stage thing too, it's like, first of all, no one who I don't know what university is like because I've never been to university. You can tell me what it's like. It's great. But once you're sitting in the classroom with the eyes, the judgment, the teachers, the professors, whatever it might be around you, I don't know what that feels like. You can tell me what it feels like, but at the same time, how I feel there might be different than how you feel there. But ultimately, you don't know what it feels like until you're there, right? And public speaking is a very similar thing. People can say, oh, I could do that. And they're probably right. They could get up there, they could grab the mic, they could speak, they could probably make a message or some notes or and they could probably get by. Absolutely.
Right.
We're not talking about the getting by. We're not talking about the stepping up there. We're talking about, can you handle the emotions, the feelings the night before? Can you handle the emotions while you're up there? Can you handle the emotions when your mic cuts in and out and now you don't know what to do? Can you handle the emotions that when you step up there, this happened twice on what day is it? Tuesday. So
yeah.
2 days ago on Sunday, first and second service, for some reason, I stumbled very, very minimally, nothing big.
Yeah.
But it's like, other people wouldn't be able to handle that because in their head, they're going to walk up, they're going to put their notes down, they're going to handle it. They're not at the place where they can handle a change in their, what they would have believed as their imagination or what they thought was going to happen. Right. I'm going to walk up there. I'm going to set my notes. Well, you're walking up there, you've already failed because you just tripped a little bit. You know what I mean? So that's what for me is where it goes much deeper with, can you? Yeah. But there's a lot more that goes in, especially with public speaking, what goes involved in what you have to do, the prep work before and after. Not only that, the self-reflection you have to go through after you're off the stage of how you did, what people thought of you, the conversations you had after, if people think you were doing good or was it just flattery when they talked to you in the halls. Like there's a lot of different emotions that goes into the public affirmation side of public speaking.
Yeah. That's interesting. When I chatted with you after I did my little speaking thing on the Sunday, you had told me you're your own worst critic, and that kind of stuck out to me because it's like, obviously you hear it a bunch of times.
Yeah, it's cliche.
It's cliche, but there's like reason why it's said. Like I think like it's important for people to remember, when you step off the stage, you probably already have a list of things that you're like, oh, I wish I did that part better. Or maybe I stuck on this spot a little bit longer. Or maybe I didn't convey this point I wanted to make as clearly as I hoped I could have. Yep. And it's just like, it's a lot harder being in it.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, like, I don't know, man. I think even the differentiating what's, like, here's a question for you. How do you differentiate whether something's a genuine compliment from somebody or like an uplifting statement, or if it's flattery? That's actually something I'm curious about.
Track record, I think, is one of the biggest things.
Yeah.
Flattery happens a lot from the same people. Every message is the best message.
Yeah.
It happens very quickly.
Yeah.
But at the same time, me judging who flatters and who doesn't is me also judging their intentions. And I have no idea. Maybe every message that I do for them is the best message they've heard. And I can't judge that, right?
Yep.
But so I guess to the answer to the question, you don't really know, but you just start to feel it more. The more that you do it, the more like you probably wouldn't be able to figure it. I mean, to be honest, there might be a lot of flattery when you do it your first time because and maybe it's not flattery, it's just motivating you to realize that they already know you're probably judging yourself really hard right now and you did good enough for you to keep going.
Yeah.
And so flattery might be needed in that moment. Flattery is the wrong word because I feel like what is the true definition of flattery? Before I need to figure that out.
I don't know if it has an absolute negative connotation to it, but I feel like flattery could mean at its surface level, like it's like, hey, I'm going to give you this compliment to gain, maybe some social approval or admiration from you without, the true meaning behind it.
So flattery here is excessive and insincere praise given especially to further one's own interests. So the amount of flattery as opposed to that one, I would not think that I receive a lot.
Yeah.
Personally. Yeah. I don't think that there's a lot of people in the hallways or in any that form that are doing it because they're trying to further their own interests.
Yeah.
I think with my role, people don't get to talk to me as often, and I don't get to talk to people as often, which is like, that's the hardest part about being pastor is well, one of the hardest parts is that you get to speak to a lot of people in a public scenario, but I don't get to connect with a lot of people. And I'd love to connect with people more. I just can't because I can't connect to that many people. so I do my best to walk the halls, that kind of stuff. I mean, this last Sunday we had child dedication, right? So a see into my world is that I'm walking the halls now, and this guy seems to prep too much notes for the amount of time that I'm given. So when I end the service after first service, for example, it's like there's 10 minutes before the next service starts, which means with child dedication this last week, I'm up after first song, which normally I'm not up after first song. So now I'm walking the halls to hopefully have some conversations with people. With, like, when I say people, it can sound very cold. I just mean the family of our church. Like I believe that everyone that comes to our church and calls us their home church, they're family. Like they're our church family. And so I love to just chat and hang out and walk the halls. But now my mind's on, the countdown's on. So I just started this conversation, let's say with you, and I don't know you very well because maybe you've been coming for 2 or 3 months. You just told me that in the hallways. And now I'm looking at you and I want to be super invested in my conversation, but I also am invested in my mind of what my what I need to do today. Right. So I have, the way that our church works is we have multiple pastors that are walking the halls every single Sunday. And the reason that they are is so that they can genuinely pastor the people in the hallways and be there to have those conversations and pray and encourage. Absolutely. And my purpose on a Sunday, my ultimate purpose is to bring the word to the entire church. That's my ultimate purpose. And then everything else on a Sunday is supplementary to that purpose. And the reason is because God's called us to do all different things. And in the season that we're in right now, I bring the message for the church. And that's the senior pastor's job. So I like to walk the halls because I still love to pray for people, love to encourage people.
I love seeing you do it too.
Counsel people, I guess. And I don't say counsel people as if I have something to offer that they couldn't offer themselves or find elsewhere. It's just we're in a church that is big and we have to make it feel small. So when I'm in conversations before the service and I see that, there's 2 different countdowns in my head. If I'm up after the first song, there's a countdown on the screens, and that countdown on the screens is counting me down too, because I'm like, in 5 minutes that's going to go to first song, and first song's going to last for about 3.5 minutes, most likely maybe 4 minutes, and then I'm going to be on stage. I have to be on stage at that moment, right? And so that's where my mind is. So now I'm talking to you and I see the countdown, I'm like, oh my gosh,
I've been there.
And so I have to be like, okay, this conversation is going a little bit deep, and if I let it get too deep right now, I'm not going to be able to support this person the way that I need to. And I don't want to rush onto stage, but there's also a lot of families that have prepared, has signed up to be a part of child dedication for months now. And they're waiting to get prayed over on stage, and they're all dressed up with their beautiful babies, and it's a big deal for them, right? It's like, sometimes it's as big as baptism for some people. So that's the biggest thing, is that I can't be all things to all people, but I try my best to be. But there always will be still disappointment in me because I can't be.
See, I was gonna ask you about that. That was one of the things I was wondering about for a long time, is like, what is your take? Because we have a fairly large church. And, people often are like, well, as a pastor, it's part of your job to connect and build a relationship with your proverbial flock, and people that you shepherd. And so you kind of answered it before I could even ask it.
That was a long roundabout way, and it's not me to go a boohoo parade for me. Like, I'm just like, no, I'm fine. It's great. But that's the hardest part, is that I do want to support everyone the best that I possibly can, not because that's my role, but because I love people. Like that's just how it is. I do want to, but time is such an interesting factor.
Well, if you get in a heavy conversation and then you abruptly end it, you're like, sorry, I gotta go. And that can be painful.
The beauty is the church very much understands, at least I think they do, in the halls, when I say, you know what, I have to be up, and like some people do and some people don't. The people that don't are very rare. It's very rare that someone goes like, well, I'm like, okay, but then I'll pass you off to one of our pastors that will do if not a better job than I will do in this conversation. But people are coming to church and they're expecting to hear a message. They're expecting to worship God. They're expecting to learn about his word. And I'm on that duty today, right? That's what I have to go do. And so, I'm not apologetic in that way, but I am definitely someone that wants to make sure that I can support everyone the best way that I can.
That makes sense. That makes sense to me.
But that's the beauty of the big church, though, too, is when you do have a big church, you have much more help with the support that you have within that staff too. If this was a smaller church, I mean, you can say that on one side, smaller churches, you may get to meet the senior pastor and have more conversations with him.
Yeah.
But it's all the same, because on a small church, you don't have as much pastors walking around the halls.
That's true.
Right? On a bigger church, we have, on any given Sunday, 8 pastors, most likely 6 to 8 pastors that are walking the halls, right? Having those conversations with people, shaking hands, praying, hugs, whatever it might be. So it's all the same. Everything grows and expands with the church.
Yeah. And I think seeing the growth of the church too is really cool. With that too. And I think the growth of that church isn't just from your messages. It's also from everyone in this church believing in what we're doing here, that God's leading you and leading us to continue to reach Winnipeg and Canada. And I think like that mission and people just being invested in that mission has helped the church to grow so much. So
it's a big team effort, right?
It's a huge team effort. It's really cool.
It's like, it's like, how do you get your degree with university? It's like, well, there's many different steps, many different people, many different support things. Yeah, late nights of you studying. But also it's like you do hopefully have good professors that teach you and so it's like, all I'm trying to say is the amount of people that is involved in you getting your degree is a lot more than just you. And the same thing goes with church. It's like when the church is growing, when everything's going really well, it's much, much more involved than just the person you see on stage. Like it's like that. I always joke. I'm just like, and obviously I'm joking a little bit tongue in cheek to say I'm just the guy who gets a mic strapped to his face. But it's obviously I do a lot more than that. But it's like at the same time, it's like everyone is a part of this massive team that is what keeps this church going. And of course, on God's plan and God's power. But it's definitely interesting. And I think that's where, and I'm very thankful for that, because I get to do what I love to do, which is there's like this, like, so public speaking, when you got off stage, did you feel like you were pumped to do it again, or you were like relieved that you were done?
First service, I definitely was like, I have a checklist of like, oh, we got things to work on. But then I kind of, because you know that about me, like there's a tendency for me to be very harsh on myself, and you've coached me through that, and I've kind of learned like I almost had to reevaluate like midway when I sat in first, and so I was like, you know what, like just move on. Like I think sometimes, and I'm going to answer your question, but I think sometimes we get so focused on all the things that we've done wrong, and we spend our time looking in the rear view mirror, being like, oh my gosh, like I wish I didn't do this. Oh my gosh, I wish I didn't like do these dumb things in the past. And I think we let that be a hindrance on what can come ahead in the future and how we can move forward. And I kind of go at it with like a mission focus now, like I'm not military at all, but I used to love military stuff as a kid. I wanted to be a Navy SEAL when I was a kid. And I was like, oh, I'm Canadian. I can't be a Navy SEAL.
I'm literally listening to a podcast right now with a Navy SEAL.
And so one of the things that they always talk about is if plan A doesn't work, move on, go to plan B. And it's kind of like, could you imagine if plan A didn't work and they just dwelled on how plan A didn't work? They'd fail their mission. And so when it comes to me now, I try to operationalize like what I do, whatever it is. It's like, okay, that didn't work. I need to move forward. I can't just sit here and be, oh my gosh, the ship's sinking. I guess I'm just going to sink because plan A, the boat's sinking. It failed. You got to go to plan B. You got to go to plan C. And so with public speaking on that Sunday, the first, it's funny that we're sitting on this, but with first service, I had a moment where I was just like, oh my gosh, that did not go the way I wanted it to. I had prepped, I had planned. And then halfway through, I'm like, okay, well, I can sit here and linger on that and let that get all caught up in my head and screw up for the rest of the day, or I can move on and just swallow my feelings, swallow my pride, and do my best. And so I went up for the announcements and had fun with it and just relaxed. And I was like, just be yourself, right? And then second service went a lot better. And by third service, I felt like myself. And it made me want to do it again.
There you go.
So
we're sitting on it because I've done it so much now that I've lost the hindsight of what it felt like to first begin.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I am now where everyone used to tell me I would be when I first started. And I'm like, that's a long way away before I'm not going to be nervous anymore and all these different
It's hard
things.
to imagine it and conceptualize
It is. And now I'm there.
Yeah.
Like easy there. Like, I don't mean that public speaking is easy. I mean that my nerves are no longer attached to it in the way they used to be.
Yeah.
My nerves have changed. My nerves are, how is the content that I'm producing and performing? Maybe there's a performance involved in preaching, because unfortunately the consumeristic world has just gone to, whether we like it or not, there's I won't say the majority, but there's definitely a good group of people in the audience that probably feels, whether they think it or not, entertain me. This is getting a little boring.
Is it keeping me engaged?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so keep me engaged in this. And so that's where my mind goes is when I'm preaching going to change lives?
Mm-hmm.
B, is it going to allow them something to apply that they can change, like genuinely, before they walk out of the service? They know that what they could change and what they could apply and what they could see as something that would be different in their life for the better. And then, but everything else at that, I don't care about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like, if my mic dies, I don't care. If the power goes out, I don't care. If I trip and yard sail it and my iPad goes flying and the everything, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because I'm so comfortable on that stage. Now, that would change if I was at a different church, speaking to a different congregation.
Yeah.
But because in my house, I'm going to say my house because, and you could say it's your house, and any other person that comes to church could say it's my house when they come to the church.
Yeah.
It feels like home.
It is home.
Right?
Yeah.
So Calgary, Winnipeg, when I walk up on that stage, it just goes, I'm with my family now. Mm-hmm. And that's why it goes. It's like for me, the stage feels like a Thanksgiving dinner with your family to me.
Interesting.
That's what it feels like. It's like you just walk up and you're like, how's everyone doing? Like, you guys doing well? Like, it's just going to be a good day. And then it's like, if I put my foot in my mouth while I'm up there, it's like, I will tell everyone I'm putting my foot in my mouth because I'm saying things I probably shouldn't be saying right now, but you get my heart. I love you guys. And let's just move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I feel judged up there, you'll hear me, okay, whatever, guys, on to the next point. Right? I did that on Sunday.
Yeah, you literally did that.
Because I don't care anymore. It's like, I know who I am.
Yeah.
I know who I am in my identity with God.
Yeah.
And that's enough for me.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you don't like what I just said, you are judging my intentions. And if you are judging in my intentions, there's probably not much I can do to change you from judging my intentions because you already did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm following you.
I believe that my track record that I've produced in the last 2 years of being senior pastor is open and apologetic and, what's the word? Approachable enough that if I say something that you might take a little weirdly, I do believe that most people would think, I think I might be just taking him wrong.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Rather than go, whoa, this guy's off his rocker.
You're not taking it at face value and getting offended. They know your heart behind it.
There's an intention behind it now. Yes.
Behind it.
And so that's where that gets very comfortable for me with public speaking now.
Yeah.
And that's why, again, roundabout way to go back to the side of why we're sitting on this public speaking thing was because when I first did it, I probably didn't want to do it again.
Yeah.
But the relief when you're done, and also just like the weight once you get off stage after third, probably even happened after a laugh on third service because you knew announcements they're easier to do, but I guess if you're nervous for them, you're nervous for them. Either way, you're getting back up on stage.
It was the laugh that made me nervous.
Totally,
because it's like it's going through, and it's funny. You hear laugh for I don't know how many years, and then all of a sudden you're asked to do it, and you're like, I don't remember how to do laugh, and you blank on it, and so I think
you don't have to prep too sometimes.
But I will go off what you're saying by like with singing. Like I've been doing it for 15 years, and I know what you're saying with that. I can't relate to it as much with public speaking because there is a difference between the two, surprisingly. But with singing, I don't have the nervous feelings that I used to have, especially when I was younger and I messed up a lyric or I screwed up what I was saying in just a transition moment or an intro. You sit down on a lot more and you're like, oh, I can't believe I did that, blah, blah, blah. The whole worship set is messed up and I didn't lead it well enough or whatever. And now I'm just like, you know what? They're going to take it for what they're going to take it. And I just truly believe the Holy Spirit's going to lead me through it. And so it's just like, for me, I go up there. I got my mission to do, my job to do, and I just trust that I'm going to be led to do it. the way I need to do it. And if I mess up a lyric, cool, we'll smile about it and we'll move on. But like, I that's how I relate to it and connect with what you're saying. And I think people can probably take what you're talking about and kind of apply it to whatever they do, right? Like the first time, let's just say someone's a painter, and the first time they're asked, okay, like the journeyman painter goes off and the apprentice is left to paint a whole room by himself in some random person's house. They're gonna be like, where do I start? And they're second guessing every little brush stroke and like, did I blend it properly or whatever? And then 20 years later, they're not even thinking about it.
No.
Right? Like it's just
because they've done it enough.
They've done it enough.
Yeah. There's a big, what's the word? Not reveal. That's the wrong word I'm trying to think of. But when you first start public speaking, there's this tell. That's what the simple word that I was looking for was tell. There's this tell of whether you're new or not. And a lot of the time what I find to be a really big tell for first time public speakers is when they screw up, they take a lot of time to either apologize publicly for that screw up. And I mean like, sorry guys, sorry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I do that, I'm moving on. Mm-hmm. That's it. I'm not going sorry. But if I'm a bumbling mess and it's not normal for me to be that way, I'll make fun of myself as a funny way to get people off the fact that yes, we all know I just screwed up. You know what I mean?
We're all perfect. Yeah.
But what I found for intro to public speaking with people is that they'll stutter or they'll mispronounce a word or and then they'll take 30 more seconds at kind of like thinking they need to tell everyone they just screwed up and they didn't mean to do that and apologize or whatever it is. Whereas, I mean, I can tell you probably like 7 different words 2 days ago on the Sunday service that I said, and I'm like, oh, I said it wrong, but whatever. I'm going to keep moving on because I'm also deep into my message. I've gotten them to a place. Yes, maybe 15 people in the auditorium heard and are stuck on the fact that I just mispronounced that. But the rest of them heard it and just moved on because I moved on.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, but singing and preaching are 2 different things because I can control the silence, whereas you can't. You have a bunch of other vocalists, band members, other things that are working in unison with you.
Yep.
Whereas I can just like, people feel more awkward than I do in the silence during my message.
See, I didn't feel that because I went up after singing to do the public speaking part, and it's just bright lights, myself, no band behind me, and
it's scary,
deafening silence. And it's like, okay, they're all looking for me to carry this forward.
That's exactly the feeling, the exact feeling, and that's what was MC was like that too.
Yeah.
And I actually I used to say that to some of the newer vocals and band members and bass players and drummers or whatever it might be. When they say, oh, I'm super nervous, man, it's just like, I'm like, okay. I said, when you're nervous, just think of me when I go up to MC. You know what I mean? It's me on the mic and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then laugh comes and you guys all leave the stage and now everyone's eyes are on this one person on the stage.
Yep.
And you carry it. So I always just say that because I was like, maybe them understanding that there's more nerve-wracking things that happen in the Sunday service, maybe that might take a little bit of the, I don't know, might soften the blow a little bit for their like feelings of anxiety in that moment.
The uncomfortability of like, again, messing up or like screwing up. It's just like, I have learned, and I'm not perfect at it, but like just move on. If you screw up a word, it's like, whatever, just skip over it.
I spoke at, so we had Dave Minton for our men's conference. Then he spoke the Sunday as well.
Yeah.
So I spoke at his, he had a men's kind of like weekend, I guess, they have like a little ranch out there on a little creek in the back that they do baptism. It was really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
And then the guys of his church are just like, he's in a military town.
Okay. So they're like, boys.
They're tough boys, yeah. And you any table you sit at, they're like there's one Ranger, Navy SEAL, this, that, something at every table that are in this military, and his church is typically high turnover of new people coming because they came, they found a church, they loved his church, they stayed for 6 months and they got deployed. And so it's high turnover. And so all these guys are great guys. So I spoke to them in this kind of, I don't know how to explain it. Just this, I guess this big outdoor building they have outside on this ranch. And then I spoke also the Sunday services so Friday night I spoke. And then Saturday they had an event, and then Sunday morning we were back at their church services in their town of Olympia, or city of Olympia in Washington. And so I spoke all 3 services there. And so this is new. Every church is different. Every church has their different, we have our laugh, our culture, all these different things, and every church has something different. So I'm watching, and I'm nervous because I'm talking to people that I haven't spoken to before. And I'm just like, hey, this is like, I'm not necessarily, again, I'm kind of back to the beginning stage of like, I want to make sure they view me as a great preacher. Like, you know, I'm young. I'm 28 years old at this point, or 29 years old at this point. And
something to prove almost.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And so one of the biggest things that you want to make sure you stick to when you're preaching at other people's churches is their time. Yeah. I'm terrible at sticking to my time in Winnipeg and Calgary. Yeah. Brutal. Now I'll tell you this, I'm bad because I choose to be bad sometimes. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And if and I'm not saying this arrogantly, but I can stick to my time. I just, as the senior pastor, I have this obligation to go, I've prepared more for you guys, and I don't want to leave you guys hanging either. Yep. And then I feel like if I don't go over right now, I won't finish my points. And then if first service gets 3 of my points, but then second service gets all 5 of my points from last Sunday, I feel like I've gypped first service. Yep. So I feel like there's this unfairness that's going on. And that's the biggest thing I deal with. So then I'm like, fine, I'll go over 7 minutes just so you get the entire message, because I have prepared this entire message.
Okay, I have a question before we continue.
Okay.
Do you think if we started first service at 9, and then we did the second service at 11, and then we did the next service at 12:45, you think you'd still go extra long, or do you think there'd be more space between services?
So you're saying keep the first and third service times the same, and then change the second service just back 30 minutes?
So it's just like first service starts at 9, and then second service you start a little bit later, which gives you more time between first and second for people to do a little turnaround. You don't feel as pressured to, like, you can still go over and not feel super bad about the turnaround being super tight. Mm-hmm. And then third service starting
you have to push third service further too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know if you'd push the third service to 12:45 if that would make people feel like it's too late.
Interesting.
The issue that
but my question is like, would you go extra long?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. There's a big comfort. There's a big comfort in an extra 15 minutes to preach. Mm-hmm. That feels like it's allotted for.
Yeah.
You know?
But you didn't feel that at first though. Probably, hey? The first time you preached, you're probably like
30 minutes.
30 minutes crap. Like that's how I conceptualize it.
Right.
If like, I'm not saying I'm ever going to preach, but like the idea of, okay, you've got 25 minutes to be on that mic and say whatever is on your mind. It's like, wow, that's a lot of time. And then I look at you on Sundays, you're like, I know I've got 25, 30 minutes, but I'm going to go 40, 45, which I think is great because you take the time to really open up the conversation. That's how I think people need to approach your messages. It's a conversation. Yeah. It's not like I'm talking at you, I'm talking with you. And I think I don't think many people really care about how long it goes, truthfully. But
I feed off the crowd sometimes too, in the sense of, and this is bad because I don't read them well, because I have a lot of people in the auditorium that just tell me that there's a lot of thinking going on. There's a lot of trying to figure out, like you're saying a lot of stuff sometimes fast. So I'm just trying to I'm applying it. I'm thinking about my own life. I'm thinking about how that point you just made pertains to it. And a lot of it's more people just basking and kind of just marinating in it rather than thinking they need to respond, laugh, whatever. So I sometimes read the room wrong for sure. And that's where I'll purposely choose to chase rabbits that are in my mind in that moment. Yeah. More so for comedic relief for people. So it's like hey, we've been preaching for a while, but I'll tell you something that's going on right now, and I'll probably say it in a way that will make the room a little lighter in that moment, and then move on. Yeah. And so, for me, I think that 45 minutes in a message would be nice because I'm able to add more to it. Yeah. The reason I went over is not because I prepared too much. Yeah. The reason I go over is because I chase rabbits. Yeah. if I stuck to my notes the way they were written yesterday, I wouldn't have been over.
Yeah.
Because I do prepare down to like the minute. And I know that I have this many minutes prepared right now if I stick to these notes. The problem is I stick to the notes and I go, the intro and the point one didn't hit the way that I was anticipating it to hit for people. And I anticipated there to be a little more laughter. I anticipated there to be a little more lightheartedness and less like, maybe everyone feels this is pretty heavy. And if I feel that, then I'll go off my script and we'll go into a different story that just comes to mind and that's, I'm doing that when I walk away from my notes. Yeah. And that's where it usually happens. If I stick to my notes, I have to stick to my notes. And so anyways, back to the story of
Olympia.
Olympia, Dave Minton's church. No, it's fine. So first service, or was it second service? He preaches a little bit before I get on. Like they're on a certain series. He knows I'm not preaching something on their series. So he goes up and preaches for a bit. Well, their media team starts my message timer during his beginning. And he goes for 12, 13, 14 minutes, which is great. It's his church. He's teaching on the subject. So when I get up there, I don't notice my time yet. I just start because I'm like, he told me I had 30 minutes, so we're good. I preach for like what feels like to be 10 minutes. I'm through point one. I have 2 more points yet. I have connecting transitions, stories that are lighthearted, laughing moments, everything into this message. And I'm like done my intro and I look up and it says I have 7 minutes left. And I'm like,
no way.
What in the world? I'm like, no way. So now I'm like, how? It doesn't make sense. I don't understand. So I rifle through that first service. Like I'm like skipping points, skipping scriptures, and I'm just getting through my points because I also want to be very, very, very respectful of the fact that I've been asked to speak here.
Yeah.
And it's his church, not mine.
Yeah.
And then I get off and I'm like, I look at David because David, like my brother-in-law, was sitting there in front row with me, and I'm like, when did they start the time? I'm like, how do I? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I don't know what went on. Like, I don't understand how I went through that fast. And second service started, and I said to David, I said, can you check the back time on the back TV screen when Dave goes up? And he checks and he sees that it's like, he's like, yeah, they started your message time already for Dave. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes so much more sense. Yep. And then when Dave got off stage, I just said, hey, like, I think you guys are starting the message time on there. And then I got the normal amount after that. But it was, I was stressing out because I was like, oh my goodness, this is crazy, right? But it's funny. But public speaking is a good one. It's a good thing to practice, and it's a good thing to get used to, because if you can have a conversation with a lot of people in a room and you are the focal point on a mic with speakers and everyone's sitting there, it's like you can have a conversation with 1 or 2 people very easily. Mm-hmm. You know, like it's a very applicable tool and skill to hone.
Yep. So why do you think public speaking is one of the most feared things?
Because it has the potential for the most judgment publicly.
Yeah.
That what I do
it comes back to embarrassment, you think?
100%. That the embarrassment you experience in a conversation with one person sits with you still, but you can avoid that person now. I said something I shouldn't have said. I feel embarrassed. Oh my goodness. And you can avoid that one person over and over and over again. But when embarrassment happens at a public scale where you feel like it's happened, like I said, publicly with thousands of people watching you, I think it just takes a lot more resolve and resilience for the person to get over that and bounce back. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's like, yeah, I think that's truthfully what it really comes back down to. And I like I'm like writing books in these different forms to get the content that I preach onto pages and go more in depth on it, so people have something they can go to. One of the biggest things that's a problem with preaching at church on Sundays is that it's like, imagine preaching to people, a big group of people, and taking them on a journey through a series. And then the amount of people who have heard your series, like your first 2 weeks versus your last week, is now you have 100 new people that just came to church and they have no idea what you're talking about because you haven't brought them on this thing, right?
Yeah.
So that also takes up time when I'm preaching sometimes because I'm like,
recap.
Yeah. And I feel like I just said a word that I probably should explain, but if you have been here for the last 3 weeks, you know that word because I've explained that word in week 1.
Yep.
So I can say, if you haven't listened to this message, go back to the last message. But then sometimes you mention things like, for example, hypothetically, identity. I might say, well, like, your identity needs to be rooted in Jesus. And if you've been on this journey for the last 4 or 5 months with me in Springs, then you'll know that I've already preached an entire series on that and you're caught up to what identity means.
Yeah.
But many people aren't, especially when you have a growing church. So you also start to go, okay, what can I give them to go, hey, if you don't know about identity, go to this book of this author, or hey, go to my book because it's it's over there, over here, and it'll teach you the Coles Notes of all this. And so, and in that, in my prepping of even writing certain different books right now, it's like comparison came up on one of them that I'm writing, and comparison for me is never good unless you compare to yourself, you know? And to me, it's like either comparison is pride or it's discouragement. On one side, it's saying I'm comparing myself to someone lower than me, and I feel pretty good about myself.
Reassurance.
Then. Yeah, there's reassurance, which kind of is based a little bit on pride.
Yep.
Whereas the secondary side is that I'm comparing myself to someone who's better than me, and now I feel discouraged because I feel like I should be doing better.
Yeah.
Right? When the Bible talks about, in the parable of the talents, it talks about that each was given to their own ability. That statement should take comparison completely out of the entire equation for every single person who's a Christian, because what you have, God has entrusted to you based on your ability to steward it. Right? So if you're going, well, why does that guy have so much more money and so much more this and so much more that? Well, if he's a Christian or she's a Christian and she's brought God along the journey with him or her, God is giving what he believes to still be a blessing that could still be well managed and stewarded for that person. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So the comparison doesn't happen as much because you start to realize that their journey with God is at a different level, whatever it might be. And that's okay. It doesn't need to be anywhere else. Both servants, 2 of the 3, did exactly the same with what they were given. They doubled it. Right? Which is amazing. And what was God's reaction to those 2 people that did it? Celebration. Come celebrate with your master, right? With your God, with your Father. Let's celebrate that win. He didn't celebrate the fact that the guy with 5 talents got to 10. He didn't celebrate what was the end result amount. He just was bringing someone into this celebratory phase of saying, look, you did so well with what I gave you. That's it. Right? So and then one guy was like, you're a hard master. And that was less about what he did with it and more about his view of the master. Right? He said, I know you to be a harsh God. Well, there you go. You just crap the bed right there for yourself. You know what I mean? Whereas the other 2 viewed God as like, wow, you would give me this?
So what would you say? Because I think the natural fleshly human response in these moments where you look at someone who maybe it feels like they were given more per se, or entrusted with more. I feel like those feelings of jealousy would kick in, and you have to keep those in check. So how would you encourage people to keep that in check, if that makes sense?
The jealousy,
the comparison. How do you pull back from that and try and just walk the narrow road without getting distracted by comparison or dissatisfaction?
I think it's just a reminder that comparison never leads anywhere good. And for me, if I know the result of where this leads, it helps me to go, I don't want this. Why don't you eat McDonald's every single day?
Why?
Yeah.
A, it's expensive.
Okay.
B, makes me feel gross.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you have McDonald's every once in a while?
Every once in a while.
Okay. So you have McDonald's every once in a while because there's certain times where you come out of whatever busyness you've been in, you forgot to have dinner, and it's like, let's
parties.
Or youth after parties, which we used to do, which was a lot of fun. And that's fantastic. That's great. But there's a reason that we don't. And the bigger reason, in my opinion, is because maybe not for everyone, but at least for me, I know where this is leading my health. That's all. And because it leads my health there, I also choose to not eat McDonald's, even though I feel like I want to eat McDonald's. And sometimes if I know I have to eat fast, I might stop at the grocery store and get a pre-made sandwich they have in their deli, because I know that maybe this is better, for sure better than McDonald's, right? Or I'll just, I don't know, depending on the day, I might not eat lunch because like I forgot to pack my lunch. I don't want to eat crap.
Yeah.
I can do better with fasting for the next 4 hours rather than not.
Yeah.
Point I'm trying to make is the fact that we make decisions because we know the result is not going to be great if we do it. So when people compare, there's jealousy involved. And for me, again, everyone's going to have a different answer to this. But for me, it's like if I compare, and this has been a big one that you have to apply over and over and over and over and over again. But for me, I know that the more I look to that person and what they have and what I don't have, what it's going to lead me to do is become jealous. And if I become jealous, then I'm ultimately being ungrateful for what I've been given.
Yep.
And I'm kind of turning into that third servant in the parable of the talents.
Yep.
I believe that if I'm jealous, then maybe I'm thinking that God hasn't given me what he should be giving me because I'm not getting given what that person's given. And God's not even trying to get there. God's just trying to say, you have what you have right now. And I'm not done giving to you. And I will never be done giving to you. But steward what you have. Why? Because God's given it to you and we should be stewarding it. And secondly, because we've been given to the ability that we have, and we've been given a lot. There's a lot. There's so much that we've been given. So why not focus on the fact that God is a good God and realize, so for me, it's like comparison always leads to two things, pride or discouragement.
Yeah.
And both of those things suck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's where I go to that, but I'm also a very blunt and very logical. I don't mean this in a higher than thou sense. I'm just saying, it logically makes sense to me. Therefore I'm good. And that's, to me, so to stay on that track to me is just reminding yourself of where certain paths lead. Yeah. And that helps. Now that doesn't really speak to the person that's addicted to the path they're on or that kind of stuff, but I'm not talking about that kind of stuff.
No. And that makes sense. Like my mind goes to like people who are in the waiting period, like if they're praying or if they're hearing praise reports on a Sunday for the exact thing that they're believing for. Maybe it's like a family who's really trying to have a kid and they're hearing about all these people, I don't know why my mind's going on this, but baby dedication and stuff that. Like
that's a different issue though.
Yeah.
God doesn't I don't believe, like God wants, like there's a verse in the Bible in Genesis, is it? Be fruitful and multiply. That is to me a command. That to me is this is God's will for your life. If it's God's will for your life, you won't be in the waiting period.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's God's will for my life. So we've like me and Jess have had a miscarriage. It happened in the same year my dad died. It happened 2 months before my dad died. It's like, we've experienced it. It was a brutal miscarriage, all these different things. Yeah. And it's like, it sucked. And it's like, but that's not us being in the waiting period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just this broken earth. That's just not the devil to the degree of the devil killed our child, but it's like, that's just the fact that we live in a broken world. We know that evil is the ruler of this world. And we know that we have to work very, 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 very hard as Christians, not to prove our worth or to earn our love or to earn our grace or to earn our healing,
freely given,
but just to stay on the path that God has for us. That's all. And for us to stay on that path is very important because the world is constantly trying to pull you off that path all of the time. It's like going for a walk with Madeline. You go on a hike and there's the beaten path right here and you want to stay on the beaten path. Right? But knowing who Madeline is, she doesn't want to stay on that beaten path. And so you're trying to walk the beaten path the entire time. And there's Madeline grabbing your hand saying, come on, and trying to drag you into the bush over and over and over again.
Yeah, you know her well.
That's all I'm trying to say is that there's a path. And I'm not saying don't go off the path. That's a lot of fun. Is there more dangers off that path? 100% there is, right? So God has a path for us that is typically, at least when it comes to his blessing, it's well worn. It's well worn because it's based on the ways of Christ. We know what Jesus has established as that path. It's abide in me, abide in my love, stay in the vine. That's the path. And you will experience the blessing on that path.
That's a good answer.
Does that make sense? So for me, it's like for those that are dealing with a lot of miscarriages, for those that are dealing with never conceiving, for those that are dealing with healing, there's no middle period there's no waiting period, in my opinion, for healing, for your body to function the way that God's created it to function.
Yeah.
To me, there's that is going off to the side where God's granting something. Oh, okay, so healing is not something that's given to someone according to their ability. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying that we see that through finances and through other blessings that we see in the parable of the talents. Right. When it comes to healing, I mean, it's already been done for us. Yeah. It says it in Isaiah and in Peter. Isaiah being a prophecy for Jesus to come, and Peter being explaining the fulfilled prophecy that did happen with Jesus on the cross. Yeah. So one was saying, by your stripes, you will be healed. Another one was saying, by your stripes, you were healed, right? Yeah. So we know that the healing has already come to us. My goal is to stay on the beaten path.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So, and the Bible also talks about saying the only fight that we have is the fight of faith. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So the hardest fight that we have in the world is to stay away from consumerism. And I don't mean that in the way of like, don't go skip the dishes.
Well, you can go to the extreme on it always.
Totally. Yeah. I'm saying that when consumerism is your highest priority, is materialism is your highest priority, is more becomes your highest priority. That's what consumerism is. Get as much as we possibly can. Yes, all the time. Yeah. And so the funny part is, and sorry, I'm rambling very quickly right now, but there's a portion of the waiting period with people where oftentimes Christians put themselves in the waiting period the second they get out of it again. So it's like, great, I just have an answered prayer. Let's move on now. And now you're back in the waiting period again, which is fine. And this is why I said the secret to the waiting period is stewardship and gratitude. I will stick by that all the time, because stewardship and gratitude is you going, wow, look what I have. This is amazing. Like I want to remind myself of the blessings that God has given me. I want to remind myself that he's given me so much.
I've likened it faithful.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. And so gratitude is what? You being grateful for what you already have, right? So for you to not be grateful would mean that you don't have much. And what I've seen even in the third world with videos and even being out I've been in Africa and different places like that. And we've had friends that build churches and pastor friends, and you hear about all these different things. The gratitude they have in the third world for what they have, 99% less than what you have, is unbelievable. And that's why it tells me that there's this consumerism disease that happens within North America and the first world, where it's like, I need just more. Yes. Yeah. And so for me, it's more so dying to that mindset, not to the fact that you will never get more, but not allowing the more to be the reason for your joy and your love and your acceptance and your forgiveness and your striving and all that. It ends up being just like, God, thank you. And then all of a sudden, oh my goodness, I got a promotion at work. God, thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Like, wow, this is amazing. Oh, I was able to save more than what my budget allotted for. I saved more. Wow, God, thank you. I don't know what happened, but you're in this, right? And you have this attitude of gratitude. I hate that because every pastor killed it.
Oh man.
But it's like, so long story here is that I don't want people to get taken into the ditch of the fact that there's a waiting period for your basic needs. Yeah. There's no waiting period for your basic needs. For me, it's just aligning with God, abiding in his love, it says, meaning remaining in his love. Yeah. When you remain in someone's love, there's nothing you need to do to earn it. There's no striving that needs to happen for you to feel it. It's just reminding you every single day that you are loved.
Yeah, that's great.
That's it.
I've been having talks with my team and youth about the daily walk. Yeah. Especially with youth, where it's just like encouraging them, don't treat your relationship with God as like in case of emergency, break the glass kind of situation. It's a daily walk. It's a daily reflection of, man, you've been so faithful. You've been so good. A heart posture of gratitude. Instead of attitude of gratitude, you could say heart posture of gratitude, because it's still condensed, clean.
Heart posture, for sure. Yeah.
I just think like sometimes we get so caught in the weeds of like, oh God, thank you so much for your faithfulness in this situation. And then it's almost like, okay, now I'm going to move on and just live my life on my own. And refusing, not necessarily a conscious refusal, but just this like neglect to do that walk with him still in the midst of all these things. It's like you get this thing you've been praying about. Great. continue just to walk with him, have a heart posture of gratitude, have a heart posture of, man, you have been faithful, but you know what? I'm also here to do your work here. Whether that's in my job, you don't have to be in ministry.
Yeah,
That's the biggest thing. I tell my team all the time. It's like, you don't have to have a title as a bass player, keys player, drummer, whatever it is. You're still a worship leader, and it's not about what we say on stage. It's more so our heart posture, our conviction, how we go up on stage and we lead, because we are a testament of God's faithfulness, and we walk up there and we're walking testimonies, and we're saying, you know what, I'm here to worship. And that's it. I'm not here to sound perfect. I'm not here to sound like I'm not here for the accolades. Yeah. I guess, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's this, I don't even have this in my message. This is probably going to come out, I'm guessing, after I'm done. Oh, maybe not. In my week 3 for the Blessed Life series, I've have the content already, and I'm just like kind of honing it in. But I don't even have this thing that I just thought of, is that me and Jess watch these, we don't watch a lot of shows, but sometimes we watch these shows, and there's been a few that we've been watching to lately that show you like the environment of work life and like big corporations and the whole like keeping up with the Joneses and the whole like striving and backstabbing and lying to get ahead and burying people in gossip so that you can sound better than you, like the classic, like to be honest, workforce probably. And what you see, and people always go, well, that person got promoted for that reason. I'm like, yeah, but there's a lot of things that person's giving up to get that promotion, right? And the blessed life that I'm trying to describe to people is that person might have given up many different things to get their wealth. And now they have their wealth, but they had to give up credibility and integrity and joy and love
family.
and family and patience. And so if you look at the fruits of the Spirit, there's love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And the reason I'm probably going to build this into my message 3 now, because it just hit me. I was like, okay, well, what's the difference? There's also the difference of the side of, in the blessed life, in the good life, you don't really care about those types of things. Like you want to experience them, but you don't practice them.
Okay.
Whereas in the blessed life, you could be in a corporation right now and go, well, Zach, my integrity means a lot to me, and it should, right? You don't want to get to the top by doing what you normally do and what everyone else does, right?
Yeah.
And so there's what's involved in the fruits of the Spirit is also an acknowledgement behind the Christian to actively practice those things. You know what I'm saying? You might not be good at patience, but practice it. You might not be good at love, but make sure you are purposefully practicing loving. Make sure you practice gentleness. Make sure you practice faithfulness. There's a practice that gets involved in there that the world, who have the good life, don't practice, and they might get what you describe as the good life in materialistic things, wealth, whatever it might be, but they're not experiencing the joy or any of the fruits of the Spirit because they don't care to practice them. Whereas the blessed life, to get to the blessed life, you just are reminding yourself that I want to practice these fruits of the Spirit. Yeah. It's not just that they need to grow in my life. They grow through watering and practicing what they are, right? When you pray, I said this on my last message on Sunday, when you ask for patience, you will just find yourself in a lot more opportunities to show patience, right? And maybe
coupon lady.
Sorry. Yeah, exactly. Coupon lady. So it's like, so show the patience.
Yeah.
And maybe you last 5 more minutes than you did the other day with your patience. Great. Right. You're building the fruit, you're developing the fruit, and fruit takes time to grow. So for me, it's just the side where the blessed life is not about striving. It's about abiding. Right? And what does abiding means? It means just remaining in what is true about God's word. When I say, so in the verse in John 15, it talks about abiding in God's love. So it says, abide in me as the vine. And then at the end of the verse, it says, and abide in my love. So we know that the part of the blessed life to experience it involves you abiding in God's love. But if you say that to anyone right now, most people are like, what the flip does that mean? Like, what does abiding in someone's love mean? Yeah. Well, if you take your relationship with your wife, for example, she's told you she loves you. She shows you every day, maybe in ways that you don't feel loved. But if you were to change your perspective of it, you would see many ways in which she's showing you love.
Yep.
Is it your love language? Who cares as of right now? She's showing you that love. You also said a vow in the beginning of your marriage that had to do with in sickness and health and you guys loving each other, right? People forget about that vow, and that vow is incredibly important, and it should be stressed hugely before you get married, because that's a big deal. You know what I mean? It's a vow, and your word is your most important thing that you bring with you everywhere that you go. Right. So if your word means nothing to you, have fun in life, you know? But then you abide in her love. What does that mean? It means that every day you do. So not only do you maybe encourage each other to operate in each other's love languages. If your physical touch is like, hey, hon, like hold my hand, like give me a hug, like, do you mind like rubbing my back every once in a while? You don't got to do it for like an hour, like just like walk past and give, like, just the little things that make me feel loved. And so there's this side that goes on to in abiding in Madeline's love, for example. So what does that mean? It means every day where you're fighting the perspective to not compare your love to other people's love, because you guys do show each other love. Mm-hmm. Just because you don't show each other love the way maybe me and Jess show each other love, or another friend that you have show each other love, you abide in Madeline's love. What does that mean? You remind yourself that she loves you, because there's many, many examples that she gives you every single day that shows you that she loves you.
She made me a wrap last night, man.
There you go.
Lunch.
So remind yourself, she loves me. She loves me. Exactly. Yeah. And so what do we do to abide in God's love? We remind ourselves what Scripture says about His love for us.
Yeah.
And get those things written down. Get those things in a PDF. I don't care, on a tattoo. If you're a tattoo guy, you have one line you want to put somewhere. Put it on your phone notes. Put it on something that reminds you constantly of what God's view is of you. And when you do that, what you do is you abide in His love.
Yep.
You're remaining in His love rather than remaining in what the world describes as keeping up with the Joneses, or continuing to strive to earn something.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That's great. That's well said.
Okay. I want to make sure it makes sense, because I can speak from the hours and hours that I study, and it can go over people's heads, because fortunately I have the opportunity that I get to study a lot.
Yeah.
So that's all. So
no, it makes sense.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to go back to what I was saying, where like with people treating the relationship with God as like this emergency glass thing, where it's just like, it's a daily walk. It's knowing His word. It's knowing how much He loves you. It's knowing how much that He wants a relationship. You see that through all the Scripture. Yeah. But especially when you read I'm blanking on the Gospels, especially when you see His love through Jesus. And I think like, I think it's hard, because sometimes I find that with I'm going to say it, with youth age kids, because I was here too, where it just feels like,
you were?
I was there at one point. Yeah. Especially like, I want your take on this, but second, third, fourth generation Christians, fifth generation Christians for some people, where it's just like, you're raised in it. It becomes familiar. And it's like, almost you're told to do this. You're told to have this relationship with God, but you have to make it your own. You have to have you have to create and cultivate. This is what I choose to have this relationship with you, and to choose to abide in you, and choose to learn about that love that you have for me, and who I am, and my identity rooted in that. Yeah. It's a whole thing. Yeah. And so with youth age kids, it's about getting them to understand, don't be like I was as a teenager. Yes, I was a teenager. This idea of like, don't coast through life and say, yeah, I know about God. Yeah, I know He loves me, blah, blah, blah. I'm fearfully, wonderfully created. It's like, no, you are truly created uniquely by God, and He wants that relationship with you. You have a soul and a body and a spirit, like a mind, soul, and body. And He wants that relationship with you, that active choice where your soul is mixed with Holy Spirit and you have that life with Him. Like, it's just like,
it's because there needs to be a humanization of Jesus.
Yeah.
And if you dehumanize Him, the dehumanizing makes it harder to relate to someone. Take, for instance, me on stage.
Okay.
I'm preaching all the time. If you happen to be sitting in the back, you don't ever meet me, you don't ever shake my hand, you don't ever say hi to me, I don't ever say hi to you, just because it happens that you kind of slip in the back, you slip out. a lot of what I preach is based on, well, all of it's on the word, but there's a lot of the application side that's based on my personal experience. Mm-hmm. And if you don't view me as someone who goes through the normal things that the people go through in life, then you'll think what I'm saying is just it preaches good, but it doesn't actually apply to your life at all. Yeah. But if you go, oh my goodness, like he's helping us grieve. How does, well, he lost his dad. Oh, but he said this does well when you're in the midst of fear based on maybe health related problems. Oh, well, they've dealt with that as a marriage and as different things and Jessica's blood infection and different things like that. And you start to dehumanize the person because they're just a character on stage, or they're just a leader on stage, or they're just,
a talking head?
Yeah, a talking head, or like in Hollywood where it's like they're just a celebrity. They don't understand any of this. And it's like, well, no, but they're still a human that has every single same human emotion as you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Jesus is the same way. It's like Jesus had every same human emotion.
The human experience.
Yeah, the exact human experience. Well, actually way worse of a human experience than most people have ever endured because of what he went through on the cross, because he loves you. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's very important to establish within the generations that are coming under you of not only teaching the words of Jesus, but making sure you do your best to humanize him. Like make sure, and that's where apologetics comes in a little bit, where it's like there's things out there. There's examples through, I mean, like the Dead Sea Scrolls you've heard about. Yep. You've heard about the Shroud of Turin that they think could be Jesus's shroud that covered him in his tomb. Yep. There's going to Jerusalem and seeing everywhere Jesus walked and where they would have thought that he would have been. This is his tomb. This is this. This is that. What that does is, and whether or not that's the specific tomb of Jesus, mm-hmm. doesn't really matter in that moment. It could be under 30 feet of sand over there. Yeah. But what it does is it humanizes Jesus from a person in the stained glass of a cathedral to someone who's in the living room with you. Yeah. And when someone's in your living room, it's different, and you react differently. You take care of them differently. You speak differently. When the issue or whatever it might be is right in front of you, you react differently. And so generations, I think they just get removed from the humanness of Jesus. And I think we have to remember that this guy, like he suffered what he suffered as a human being, like as a man. I mean, like this guy cried, this guy sweat blood because of how stressed he was. This guy like couldn't sleep the night before his crucifixion, obviously. You know what I mean? Like, could you? I couldn't. I'd be like, what in the world's going on? This guy was flogged and beaten, and there's a humanness that I feel like the sheltered Christian household needs to figure out age-appropriate content and material to show their kids that the Jesus is real. Yeah. This is not someone you learn about in Bible class where he comes in a white robe and he loves on you and it's great. This, like, we need to remember to have the empathy for Jesus, and that's what kind of carries that on. And then as the generations go, I mean, unfortunately, certain generations are just going to hit brick walls and learn the hard way, which will reestablish the conviction and then start that cycle over again, I think. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like 4 or 5 generations out, they'll have the teachings, not abide in the teachings, realize that their life sucks, and then go, maybe my parents and the generations before me were teaching me something that could be life-changing. Yeah. And then they reestablish themselves in the teachings, and they start that whole trend again, where now their kids are going to be 2nd generation, even though they're now 7th generation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I'm just kind of thinking about how this applies to me being a dad and then a grandfather. And I think that the thing I have been thinking about leading up to this is the word legacy has been a big one for me, where it's just kind of like, if we're talking about, people who live a good life and, they've got, I don't know, let's just say they make really good money, maybe $1 million, whatever. And they got really beautiful home, beautiful kids, everything looks great on the outside, but they're constantly chasing this desire to almost have a purpose. And I've been thinking about that long and hard, because I'm just kind of like, like our life is finite here on earth. Like, obviously we have eternity in heaven, but what we do here on earth really matters. And I've been thinking about, like, one day when I die, it's just like, what's going to be carried on? Is it going to be the wealth I accumulate? Sure. But like, down the line, let's say my great-grandchildren, my great-great-grandchildren, they're going to come to a point where like I am just maybe a conversation piece around a dinner table talking about, oh, here's our family tree. But like, what about the things I instilled in my kids? That trickles down. That's what's going to be, without them even realizing it, that is evident in their lives generations down the line.
Yep.
And so like, I've really been thinking about one day when I'm a dad, everyone asks, so you pregnant yet? And we're like, no, we're not yet.
Yeah.
So we're going to destroy the rumors now.
Yeah.
But the truth of it is I've been thinking long and hard, especially lately, about the idea of being a dad. And what do I want to instill in my kids? What's worth more, the money or, the legacy I leave behind as a man of faith? And so I guess moving forward, like one of my questions to you would be like, as the head of the house, as the father, the husband, what do you think is crucial as a father and a husband to teach your kids, to leave a legacy of kids who have a faith with Jesus, a walk with Jesus?
I'm not the perfect dad, and I'm not the perfect husband, and I'm not the perfect pastor. So we'll establish that. And everything I've already said is based on my probably not hugely holistic view of everything going on in my life, and very much just this is what I think sometimes.
Sure.
When I said that fourth and fifth generations seem to sometimes just need to hit a brick wall and get back on, there's many generations that don't have to do that because they have been instilled teachings and different things very, very properly. But what I've learned, and even youth back in the day, was that I so badly wanted them to learn from my experiences and not hit the same failures that I hit. But time and time again, the majority of them just failed the same places that I failed.
Yeah.
So it started to realize that there's just certain things in life you have to learn the hard way, and that is the truth. But for me, it's I answer this question based on being a dad now, and I answer this question on having a great dad. And on the having a great dad, you won't know this until you go through losing someone in your life, whether it's a dad or a mom or whatever it might be, that was kind of like a mentor to you as well as a father figure to you. Because not everyone listening has a great father. So I'm not saying when their father dies, they'll get this. Yeah. Whoever that father figure is to people, you learn that I don't remember a whole lot of my dad's words. I really don't. Mm-hmm. I don't remember, people remind me in the halls all the time, your dad used to preach on this, your dad used to preach on that. I don't remember any of it hardly. Like there's certain things, there's certain Hall of Fame moments and lines and messages that he spoke that I'll always remember.
Yeah.
But there's also things that I don't remember. But what I do remember is when I walked with him and I talked with him and I sat down for dinner with him, is I remember seeing him do life. And I remember what I saw in him doing life. And what I am today and who and how I walk is not just the way that my dad did, but it's large in part to the way that my dad showed me how to live. So first of all, your kids are always watching you, no matter what. Like they're always watching you. And Jess reminds me of this all the time because I say words like crap and shut up and different things, like to the dogs even. And she's just like, she's going to start saying what we say, and she already is. Yeah. And so we have to be very careful with that. Yeah. And so your kids, and everyone always says this is another cliche line that it gets very annoying because it's just like, your kids don't do what you say, they do what you do. Yeah. Right? Everyone says that who is a parent, but it's very, very, very true.
It's the reason why they're cliches.
Yes, they're cliches a lot of the time because they work, but the reason they've become cliches in the sense of the annoyances behind them is because people use them that shouldn't use them sometimes, where it's like, okay, I get that, but you're also like, you're saying it and not doing what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like you're talking the talk, but you're not walking the walk. That's why it's a cliche to me.
Yeah.
And so for Brooke, it's like the biggest is presence. I want her to know like how much I love her. And I show her how much I love her by being present right now. And she notices. If I'm on my phone, she now comes up beside me, and she'll like hit me on the shoulder. And she's 13 months old. And I'll look at her, and then she looks at me and she goes, and she smiles really big. And I'm just like, man, it's like you melt my heart instantly. Like what the heck? Like yesterday, Jessica went to a movie with a friend, and so I was on solo dad duty.
Respect.
And sorry?
Respect.
Yeah. And so I'm at the kitchen table and I'm making her dinner. Like we have like these kind of organic packs that you can heat up, and so she was having this beef bolognese, whatever.
Oh,
and so
fancy.
It's apparently fancy. I don't know. I tasted it. It's the blandest thing I've ever tasted in my life, but it sounds good on paper.
Dang.
And so I give her one spoonful, and she's just like this, like she's pushing my hand away. She doesn't want to eat it. And I'm like, I know you're hungry. So I have a snack in front of me. I had some like pepperoni sticks and some cheese, like some sliced cheese. And so I was eating them both. And then I'm like, I pick off a little bit of my cheese and I put my hand near her mouth, and she goes, and she eats the cheese all good.
Yeah.
So I called Jess. I'm like, Jess, you're not at your movie yet, but like, what's a good meal? I want to make sure she has some meal, like has something that's like sustenance. She has good meals all the time, but it's like, oh, sometimes she likes a grilled cheese. So I said, okay. So I get out this, like, and again, like we have the, I don't know, bakery baked, perfect 4-ingredient, nice bread, and it's in the freezer. So we grab it out of the freezer, and so I make myself grilled cheese. So we both have grilled cheese, me and Brooke, and we have a nice time, and we start eating, and then I bring her to the bath and all these different things, and I'm just like, that's the moments that are made, right? It's like, do I want to go do something like myself? Yes, of course I do. I ended up going, I think, and gaming with some guys last night, and we had some fun, and it was good. But it's like things that I don't normally get to do all the time. It's like, oh, I'm by myself in my house. I've kind of done my work. I've done this. I've done that. But what's so nice was the fact that those moments where you're showing your daughter that you love her by your being with her, you know what I mean? And so I think the legacy that everyone's always so caught up in, you're going to leave a legacy whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And the best legacy you're going to leave is the legacy where you consistently your entire life work on yourself, and the new and improved you that you build through the teachings of Jesus and through other great books and devos and different things that show you how to be more like Jesus are ultimately just going to come through you in the presence that you show your children. So who your children become is just simply where their biggest influence came from. And if I love Brooke so incredibly much, where she goes, Daddy loves me a lot. And then I also show my daughter that, like, you know where that love comes from though? It's because Jesus loves us that much. And you go down that whole path and teaching and, but what I've learned is that it's overrated sometimes what you say to your kids, because they won't remember what you say. They'll remember what you do. And that's what I've noticed from my dad. Everyone's like, wow, you preach and you're just like your dad. And you're this. My dad never sat me down and said, this is how you run a church. My dad never sat me down and said, this is what you should do. My dad never said, hey, this is how we walk the hall. Like, maybe he told us how we walk the halls and how there's a way of making people feel loved and making sure you're engaged in conversation. But like, after that, it's like he just showed me. I saw him walk the halls, as did everyone else in our church. And it's like, so that's the beauty of it. Leaving a legacy, like I said, it's going to happen either way, but being present and working on yourself constantly is very important. That's probably the deepest answer I can give, because I don't know if do these 7 things and you'll leave a great legacy.
That just sounds like a good book.
What?
That sounds like a good book.
Great. Oh, I'll sell lots of copies.
Yeah,
it's great. Yeah, I should. Yeah. And then just repeat myself for 12 chapters in a row with a lot of fluff. And then everyone will take one sentence from that book and say it. Even if the one sentence is life changing, it's worth it. Just a lot of fluff and not enough content, you know? But that's like, honestly, I don't know if that answers your question or not, but like,
it does.
It's dying. It's doing exactly what the Bible says, dying to yourself. Like, it's like, and nothing makes you die to yourself more than when you have your first child. And you're like, whoa, like crazy.
I'll have questions for sure. I'll have questions when the day comes.
I have questions. Like every day parenting, I have questions. I'm like, why did she do that? Why did she do that?
You ever asked ChatGPT?
No, I've never.
For anything?
I've never, no.
I'm curious if people do that.
For sure they do. I've never done it for parenting. For me, I'm like, I look at families that I want to model my family after, and then I go ask that person. That's what I do. It's like, if I appreciate the way your kids are in public and they're very respectful and all these different things, then I'll be like, hey, I'd love to You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
That's the beauty of a big church, though, too, is you will see families around you at some point that seem to not have it all together, but seem to live a life that you'd love to live.
Yeah.
And it's like, if they live a married life you'd love to live, or they live a family life you'd love to live, tell them, hey, man, can I take you for coffee just to ask you questions? Because you see, no one in the church that just comes and attends church is going to go like, oh no, I don't want to go for coffee with you. If you are a normal person and you walk up to them and you just say like, man, I'm a young parent right now and I need to learn all that I can. Yeah. Like, would you want to do coffee? Because man, like you seem to, I know it's not perfect and that's probably what you're going to say to me, but it's like, you seem to do it very well. And I'd love to learn from you.
Yep.
Like that to me is a humbling, like, what's the word? Compliment.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's earnest. I think that's what it is.
It is.
It's just like, it's genuine. And you can tell. So Zach, I'm a new homeowner. And
yeah.
I'm
not your guy. Yeah. I'm just kidding.
And you just seem to do homeownership really well.
Yeah. No, I don't. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
It's stewardship.
Stewardship.
That's what it is, man. Everything is stewardship.
Yeah.
And when you learn that it is stewardship, then you realize that you're not just building something or taking good care of something because you want to make sure it has good resale value. It's like you're doing it because it's a gift from God. And it's like, this is God's house. This is not my house. 100%. Like God gave me this house. It's like, and that just changed a lot of the stuff for me.
I like that framing too, right? Like,
and I fall off that all the time, by the way. Yeah. Like I don't steward everything perfectly and my house isn't immaculate. And
we are all imperfect people.
That's what I mean. Yeah. But again, it's the striving towards excellence, I guess, not perfection, but excellence. Yeah. That helps you with that.
Okay. Let me ask you one more question.
Okay.
We're talking all about, living there's a good life and there's a blessed life.
Okay.
And when you've walked, because you have walked through hardships and in times of uncertainty, especially at like a young age, and you reflect on like where you were and where you are now.
Yeah.
It's just like when you hear people are dealing with things and they're really stressed and let's just imagine there's another person here and they had a very similar experience to you. Like, how would you point them to, okay, even in the midst of all this stuff, even in the midst of the uncertainty, and like, even if we go to your speaking, right, where you were told by people, like, I see where you're going to go as a pastor. And you're like, I don't know what you're seeing, but I'm here right now. How would you encourage them to walk that path of just be consistent, be faithful in your relationship with God, even through all the uncertainty? I know it's a really long-winded question, but pretty much what I'm saying is through the bad times, the hardships, the uncertainty, how do you hold fast this idea of I have a blessed life?
I'll just answer for me and not try to answer correctly, because that's also a massive issue with me all the time. In my role is answering what Zach thinks versus answering biblically correct.
Yeah.
This is going to sound cliche, but like the Bible is just very clear on the way that we need to live. And I think a lot of people just don't choose to live that way until they have to. And I call that transactional Christianity, right? Where it's like, I don't need you, so I'm good. But when I do need you, I'll phone you. Right. And then I expect like microwave Christianity, like I explained on Sunday, where it's just like, but this prayer, I want the answer. I want the joy. I want the peace. And then we can move on with my day. Yeah. But I'm not going to do anything else to, like, I guess people don't realize that faith is a path. It's not a destination, right? Faith is a pursuit. It's not perfection. Yeah. And so when faith is a pursuit, it means that I'm constantly going back to most of the things that we've said on this episode, going back to the hard beaten path of God's ways, Jesus's ways, every single day of my life. And so if I'm in a hard time, it's like what I want to make sure of. And the times that you can make sure of this is in the good times. So the hard time, like, so when Joseph went through the pit, the prison, the pit, slavery, the prison, and then second in command, he didn't realize that once he got to being second in command, that he would help Egypt with famine, right? So this famine was coming up, and he basically said, we're going to have 7 years of good and then 7 years of bad, to do with like what we harvest.
Yeah. Yep.
And during that, and it's very, very cliche and very obvious, right? And during that 7 years of good, what we're going to do is we're going to store up so that when those 7 years of bad comes, we have enough to eat during the famine, basically. Yeah. And so that, in a nutshell, is how our faith works. It's like, in the good, you feel good. You're not dealing with much anxiety. You're not dealing with much fear. You're not dealing with much anything. In fact, I would say you describe it as like, I actually have more peace than I've ever had. I feel God's love more than ever. Well, in those moments, make sure you continue to store up what? Your devotions, your time in prayer with God, your worshiping of God. You're continuing walking down that path, not pausing on that path and enjoying what you're in.
Yeah.
You're going to continue to walk down that path, because what you're experiencing right now is probably a good life for sure, but it's like, you need to make sure that whenever that life comes, those trials comes, that persecution comes in the world that we live in, that you have those reserves ready, right? You're good to go, because when you're in the middle of something that's hard, it's like you don't see clearly.
Yeah.
It's like, you could ask me, let's say you're $20,000 in debt right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just go on the financial side. And let's say that, how do I make this applicable? The point I'm trying to make is that people, for some reason, are able to solve other people's problems very easily. And when they're in the same problem that they've solved for someone else, they can't solve it for themselves. There's this fog that comes into bad times for some reason, of like, when you're in debt, you don't know how to get out of it, but you know how to get me out of debt. And you could tell me and sit down with me. A financial advisor could go, this is how you get out of debt. But when a financial advisor's in debt, for some reason, he needs to get a financial advisor to help him out of debt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's very odd.
It's like a therapist needing a therapist.
Exactly. Yeah. And everyone knows this. Everyone's experienced this. Everyone who's lived, it doesn't even matter the amount of years, but if you've lived a decent amount of years into your adulthood, you've experienced the fact that you've solved problems for others that you now can't solve for yourself. And for some reason, you're going to them saying, what do I do? And so that's the same thing with God's word. It's like, you just have to make sure that you are read up, that you continue to get into the relationship with God, that you continue to include God in your conversations that you have. And I mean, just like, talk to him. Like, one of the books that I'm writing right now, it involves the conversations we have with Jesus. And it's like, just talk. Like, I'm on my way home. God, I'm kind of mad right now. You know what I mean? Like, this happened in my day today. This happened in my day today. Why? Your word says this. Your word says this. Your word says this. Why am I even having to handle this right now, God?
Why am I here?
Yeah. Like, why am I in the middle of this? I don't understand why. Everyone always thinks that, like, yes, there's a way to pray and in the word and talks about this. And it's like, but ultimately God's just waiting for the conversation with him. Right. And you'll feel that leading from God when you're just real with him. Yeah. Like, when does the best friendships start? It's when you finally are real with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like when we're sitting down and you're like, oh, that's great, Zach. That's an awesome point. Now, what do you think about this? And it's like, okay, like, just be real with me. You know what I mean? I know what we're doing. We're talking, but it's like, what's really going on? Well, life kind of sucks right now. Thank you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, yes, are we declaring a good life? Yes, absolutely we are. But it's like, it's okay to be open with how you're feeling. Yep. And that openness happens with God. And when you're finally open with God, it's funny, he knows all, but you're reluctant to tell him all. Yeah. Did you hear that? Yeah. So he knows.
I did hear that, yeah.
Okay, so he knows everything. But sometimes we feel like there's still things that we can hide from him, or we don't want to be honest with him on because it's embarrassing. He knows.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. So it's like, just talk to him. Yeah. Like, I know that you saw me miss the mark today. Yeah. And I feel terrible about it. And this.
Yeah.
Just have an open conversation with God. And I think if most people would do that more often, they would establish themselves in perspective on what God says rather than the reality that they're living in today's day. Because consumerism, I'm attacking consumerism again, because consumerism seems to be the difference between a good life and a blessed life. Consumerism always tells you to get more, go more, strive more, earn more. You didn't do this right, so therefore you're getting penalized by your boss. And you just attach everything of what you learn in the consumerist mentality to the way that God views you. And God doesn't view you in a consumerist mentality. He views you as a child that he's proud of, as a child that he disciplines, not because you deserve punishment, because you deserve to go and live the life that he's created you to live, which is the most fulfilling life ever. Yeah. And that discipline doesn't necessarily mean you're punished. The discipline just means like correction. It's like, oh, you're walking this way. Let's walk this way instead, right? Like, let's just do this. And so again, long-winded answer, because you ask questions that are a little deeper than just like, here's one word. But it's like, you just have to stay on the straight and narrow and do your best to stay on it and stay away from the consumerist mentality. Go enjoy everything that you can enjoy, what the consumerism has out there, but don't make it your like goal in your pursuit. Yeah. Right. Like faith should be your pursuit.
Yep. And a real relationship with God and all of it.
One more question for you.
One more question. I could ask you a million questions.
No, we should end soon, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But what were you going to say?
No, I didn't have another question.
Okay. Because, and I guess to really sum up what I just said, is that what is your pursuit?
You asking me?
No, I'm just saying it with some added time after the pursuit question so people can really think about it. Because for me, it's like, what is your pursuit though? So if I say faith is a pursuit, but it's consumerism too.
Yeah.
Right? Keeping up with the Joneses is a pursuit.
Yep.
Marriage is a pursuit.
Yep.
Family is a pursuit. Almost everything in life is a pursuit. It's not a destination. I've said this multiple times. You understand that a lot of the time, the trip to the destination is better than the destination itself a lot of the times, right? Like, it's like you have more memories that was in the crazy loud family car trip than the actual destination where the car trip actually led you to. Right.
It's actually, it's very true.
Yeah. And same thing with the days off, right? So did I say this 2 weeks ago?
The night before.
Yeah. The night before is just way better than the day off, right? Why? I don't know why. It's the pursuit of what's coming.
Anticipation. I can't even
Anticipation.
speak. Anticipation. That's crazy.
Anticipation for it seems to be more. So for me, it's like, what are you pursuing? Huh. And the blessed life involves pursuit of God. Yeah. Period. Everything else will be taken care of.
Okay. One more question now.
Okay.
Define pursuit.
Define pursuit?
Yeah, because I think it would be helpful for people to have an active visualization of, we talk about pursuit of money, pursuit of success, pursuit of our faith. And you've hit on it pretty much, but I feel like it's a really good idea. We don't even need if you want to do the Webster's definition, you can, or
I'm doing it.
The Google AI one. But
no, I'm just doing, actually on Google, it hasn't been coming with AI when I've been to define. Okay. It's just the Google dictionary.
Because I just think this is important for people to actually conceptualize it, because we can say the words, have your pursuit of life should be in your faith, but what does it look like in like a condensed answer? Yeah,
I know. Condensed. You think I talk too much this podcast?
No.
Yeah, you did. No. Some of your answers were long-winded, but
some of them were definitely a 5-minute. No, I'm just in the sense of like, if they were to walk away and be like, that's what it is. That's what I mean by that.
Pursuit of faith, I guess, is God just becomes a part of your everyday life and less of like a ritual or a
discipline.
Disciplines are good.
Yeah, but what if you're treating your relationship with God as a discipline? Then is it something that you have to do, that you have to get done, or is it something that you are just living?
I think that and I've said this before, you have to do before you desire. So a lot of people haven't experienced the life that they talk about within the Word of God because they just haven't done it. I've said this on stage. You don't desire McDonald's before you've ever eaten McDonald's. You only desire McDonald's after you've eaten McDonald's, because the desire hits you hard.
Yeah.
And so there's a discipline that's involved in your faith pursuit to get you out of your current disciplines, to realize that you need to start desiring something new.
Yep.
So your current disciplines maybe aren't the best things because they're leading the life that you're in right now. But after that, it's like, so we do it first. So the discipline of your relationship with God would be like, well, discipline yourself to get into the Word, to pray, and you're going to have to discipline yourself before. It's probably going to have to be a task on your list for a first little bit before you get to the desire part. So do it for 3 months. Make it a task. Wake up in the morning at 6 a.m., whatever time you want to, and read the Word for 30 minutes and bask in it. Don't try to get through it. Just read it, understand it, figure it out. Pray to God. What does pray to God mean? It means in your car. Hey God, thank you so much for this day that I'm about to do, and just lead me and guide me. And if anything, God, today, just allow me to experience your leading, and that's it. And maybe at the end of the day, you're like, God, I didn't have the greatest day. It's kind of almost like you talking to yourself in the car, but you're talking to God. Yeah, it feels weird, but talking to yourself is weird too, and everyone does it. You know what I mean? Like, what should I do today? And you'll talk to yourself.
I do it when I clean.
Yeah.
Matt's like, what'd you say? I'm like, I'm just talking to myself.
Yeah, or you have a problem. So you're like, so if I do this and do that and do that, you're just speaking out loud. Yeah. Do the same thing, but just add God into it. Just be like, hey God, like I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about that. Yeah. So the pursuit of like a pursuit looks like that to me. It's every day just learning to include it. When the Bible talks about pray without ceasing, it means just stop. Don't stop talking to God. It's like just bring him into your everyday. That's all.
Yeah.
If I say, I always talk to Matt, that could mean that most people would think I talk to him most likely on the daily.
Yep.
If I say I always talk to Matt, right? That's how it should be with God. If I always talk to God, what does that look like? So your pursuit is just realizing that money's good. Sure. Yeah. Family's awesome. And that's a great pursuit. Yeah. But you will not pursue family very well if you don't pursue God first, because God is the author of you being the best dad, the best husband, the best wife, the best everything that you can be, right? So the pursuit of faith is just realizing you're going to stumble, it's going to be fast sometimes, slow other times. It's going to be a big mixed bag, but the ultimate pursuit, what I'm getting at, is I want a deeper relationship with God. And that's my pursuit every single day, all the time. It might mean for some picking up a good devotional because you don't fully understand the Bible right now. For others, it might be buying a new translation of a Bible that's more like thought for thought or storytelling so you can understand the stories of the Bible. If I was pursuing right now and I was talking to someone who had no idea what I was talking about, the pursuit would look like this. Start talking to God on the daily. Well, I don't know how to. That's good. That's where you should start. You should know how to. It's the same reason that you do with everything else. So what does that mean? In the morning, before you go to work, I want you to say this. Or when you're in the shower, go, hey, God, I don't really know how to do this. And I don't know if you're listening to me right now or how this even works. But I guess I just want to acknowledge that you're there and I love you. And amen, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the conversation. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't need to be more than that. And then what does that look like for someone who doesn't know the word? Find someone that you love in preaching and you understand what they preach and see if they have any good books. Yeah. Go pick up a book, and that's your devotional book. Maybe you're not reading the Bible yet, or maybe you go pick up the Bible and you pick up a good translation. And I've said this before in messages. There's like kind of paraphrases out there in translations. There's thought for thought, which means that Message Bible is like a thought for thought. It's like there could be one line in the ESV, and then all of a sudden the Message Bible makes it a huge paragraph. It's thought for thought. It's expanding that into a thought. Yeah. So it's not what was actually said. It's the thought. Then there's word line by line, even. Then there's word by word. Yeah. You might not, like, most new Christians are not going to be word by word. It's going to confuse the crap out of them. Yeah. But then when you start getting into it, learn about Jesus. And what does that mean? Read John. Don't read 1 John or 2 John. Read John. And if you're on the pursuit of deeper faith, get to know who Jesus is first. What does that mean? Read John over and over and over every day for a whole year. You might finish John 9 times in that year. Great. Read it again. Until you realize that Jesus is not a respecter of persons, and what he does for one, he does for all. So every single story you see Jesus interact with someone like you, that is a depiction and a thought you can have in your brain of that's the way that Jesus views you. Period. It's like, oh, you're going through sin right now and you've made mistakes? Great. Read the story about the woman caught in adultery. And read it over and over and over again. How did Jesus treat her? With respect, with love, with acceptance, with forgiveness, and now go and don't sin anymore. Yeah. Over and over and over again, you see that. So the pursuit for me is broken, weird, awkward, stumbling, stuttering, real, and just have a conversation with God. And that conversation will get better. And it might even be journaling to God with your mouth. It's like, Jesus, God, I had a pretty good day today. Went and did this. I didn't really understand this. I didn't really understand that. Just have a conversation with him.
Yeah.
And at the end, say amen, I guess. And then soon you'll start to read scripture. You'll see how Jesus, you'll see how Jesus preaches. You'll see how Jesus teaches. You'll see how Jesus prays. You'll see how the disciples did. You'll see all these different things. And then you'll see pastors that do it. And everything is just a depiction of the conversation they're having with Jesus. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. That's all. It's nothing more than that. It's a pursuit, which means every day it's going to look a little different. Every day you're going to get a little further. Every day you'll get a little more comfortable. That's the pursuit.
Great answer.
Does that make sense?
No, it's really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for having the conversation with me.
No problem.
We should probably end it. I mean, I have people that talk to us all the time that say like, you can go 4 hours and we listen. And it's like, yeah, I get that. And sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. I think we've done 3 hours one time on one of the podcasts, or 2.5 but yeah, that was a lot to chew on for people. So they can listen to that over and over again, hopefully. And sorry if I blabbed a little bit too much there.
Honestly,
I can see your eyes sometimes and I'm like, and I appreciate you because you give me honest feedback of, I remember asking you after 20 sums one time, or 1835. I'm like, how did you feel it went? I feel like you were long-winded on some of your questions, and I'm like, thank you, I appreciate that. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I have the relationship with you though, where I also trust my heart on it, and you know that I'm not here to be a jerk. And
I'm not answering you, right? Like in this podcast format, I'm answering someone I feel like did start at square one, and they can pick anything out of that.
Well, that's why I asked the questions too. Yeah, like
it's helpful.
With pursuit, we say words sometimes that I'm just like, do we
spiritual cliches?
Yeah, like
what
does that mean? Like, so thanks for asking me. This was fun.
It was fun.
I will happily do it again if you want me to.
We'll do it again. We'll have some fun. We'll enjoy and
it also helps me figure out the pacing of this, because I was kind of like trying to figure out, do you have like a list of things you go through?
No.
And then like that. So I figured that out today.
I do not. People hear enough of me on stage in a format that is very strict.
Yeah.
And I don't mean strict in the sense I'm on here for 30 minutes. I got to get this done and that's it. And they don't really get to have tons of conversations with me. And so for me, it's like, I'd rather this is just all about conversation. It's just open dialogue conversation in hopes that what we talk about is entertaining. It teaches, it encourages, it, one of the above. I don't really care. Some might be more entertaining. It's just it's a good thing to listen to when you're at work and you're like, you know what, this is, I know that it's going to be a clean podcast. I know that everything they talk about is going to be, whether it's entertainment or not, is still going to be biblically grounded. I know that they're always going to go back to God's word. I know like it's a safety in that, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's why we do it. But anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for joining in. Hopefully you're still listening. And, like always, subscribe, like, share. How far this gets out has nothing to do with me now. It has everything to do with you guys sharing, liking, commenting, doing everything you can to push this media out there. When you see something that's viral, when you see something that has gone far, it's because people have shared it, and it's gone far because people share it. So make sure you share this. Make sure you send this to a friend that's on your mind right now that you think would enjoy this conversation and listen in. Do whatever you can to get this further out there, because I promise you that people need to hear God's word in a real, impactful, but also, like I said, a very real way. And that's what we are all about here, is applying God's word in a way that makes sense to someone who lives a messy life. And that's all of us all the time. So know that we love you guys, and we'll see you, or you'll see us next time for the next episode. So talk to you guys later.